for keeping it together after that spin.
And I want to go to the position battle for 7th and 8th right now. That's between Anthony Woodward in the Bad Cactus Racing 4 GT3 and Martin Heller in the Crash Test Dummies 2 car. That gap is just under a second right now as they go through Eau Rouge. And you can see the 4 GT struggling badly through Eau Rouge, and the roof gets a fantastic run through there. Is this going to be enough to get him into Lacombe? I'm not quite sure this lap by, but this battle is on for sure.
Yeah, you're quite correct. I have to apologize to the Crash Test Dummies team. I was just having a little bit of fun there with the other car. This car with Martin Heller behind the wheel is doing a fantastic job as he looms up behind the Ford GT of Anthony Woodward, who we do know from another series that we cover, and we might even be seeing him in that series shortly. But he's struggling at the moment to stay ahead of the roof, and the roof is coming up behind him and getting ready to pick him off if possible. Although coming down the hill there, we can see some of the power of the Ford GT going down there, Kevin, and it's got pace, there's no question.
Yeah, where that Ford GT is really good right now is on the exits of these high-speed corners, and the roof just not quite there. Roof much better on the exits of slow-speed corners. So, but the Ford GT, he's also struggling a little bit on the entries of high-speed corners. So this is a very interesting, strategic battle if you're one of the drivers right now. But right now, what we're seeing is these guys are close, and Martin Heller going wide on the exit there through Paul Frere, seeing if he can't set up into the chicane or the source maybe.
Yeah, and coming down Blanchimont, it's incredibly fast. The cars are almost flat out. We see the Ford GT actually doing a great job through there. The roof just taking a little bit of the tire, not the tire barrel, the rumble strip there, and now they close up. And now this is where the roof is very strong. But look at the exit speed, as you were saying, Kevin, of the Ford GT, just streaks away, heading towards La Source there. Now they come into the really slow braking area for La Source. We've got Martin Heller now sizing up the Ford GT, but once again the Ford GT just pulled away, coming down the hill there towards Eau Rouge. And it's not the roof track, dare I say, will not catch him going up Kimmel Straight here, I don't believe, Kevin.
No, he went too far away, and he messed up La Source. La Source is going to be the place where he's going to have the biggest advantage over that Ford GT3. So he needs to get a perfect run through La Source and a perfect exit out to be able to have a chance through that long run down the pit straight through Eau Rouge and up the long uphill Kimmel Straight. If he's going to have a chance, because I think the Bad Cactus Racing car is going to be able to hold him off everywhere else.
Yeah, I think you're right. Now, as they come through the hairpin there of Bruxelles, you can see that he does close up through those slower corners, but then everywhere else, the Ford GT just puts the power down and keeps that distance. So maybe what he needs to do is, coming to the bus stop, he needs to start planning how he's going to try and pass him in La Source. Because, as you say, that's going to be the best opportunity because of the fact that the roof track is slightly more nimble than that Ford GT. So let's see what happens on this lap. But this, folks, is a battle for position. There's no question. As they come now down the hill once again through Paul Frere and heading towards Blanchimont, that long loop to the left. Going from 17 to 18 and then towards the bus stop chicane. Now, I'm not quite sure which car is better in the braking zone. I would imagine it would be the roof track. Let's see what happens as they come towards the bus stop once again.
And I just want to point out, we just got a notice from the admins that Rick Smith was black flagged for avoidable contact with number 11. As the Bad Cactus Racing car goes wide on the exit of the chicane here, this is setting up perfectly for Martin Heller in that Crash Test Dummies car. He has got to get a perfect run out of La Source right now as we see that Ford GT just pulling away that better top-end speed, and it looks like that roof's getting a good run through, but he's held up a little bit by the bad exit of the Ford GT. And once again, the GT gets on power and just starts motoring away from this roof. Martin Heller Heller has a job to do.
Yeah, you're quite right. And there we could just see perfectly the difference between the cars. The roof track closed right up, coming towards the source, as we did have a small mistake there from the bad Cactus Racing driver Anthony Woodward. But then he lost that advantage as he had to check up in order not to hit him. And then, of course, the power of the Ford GT came into play. And we see them now going through the Lacombe complex once again, turn 7, 8, and 9. And he's not going to catch him anywhere else. It's just got to be through the bus stop and into La Source. Hey, Kevin.
Yeah, the only other place where he seems to be a lot faster is through the 12-13 complex of Fagnes, but that is an extremely difficult place to make a pass. I'm not sure that can happen. This Ford GT just seems to be so strong elsewhere.
Closing up now. He's a lot closer through this part of the course than we've seen on the previous lap. In fact, he's bearing down on the Ford GT right now. Anthony Woodward has his work cut out as they're also coming up on other cars. In front of Anthony, we've got Sam Barron in a badly damaged NSR racing machine. So these guys are going to slow them up. And this might, of course, give Martin Heller the opportunity, as we see that Ford GT having to slow down once they do catch up to these other cars. Now coming once again through into Blanchimont. Now he's very close, Kevin. So this, I think he's working out exactly what he's going to do to try and get past. However, it is for position. Anthony Woodward is not going to give up the position lightly, nor does he have to. Let's see what happens. Very interesting battle here.
Indeed, and you can see just how much top-end speed that Ford GT has over the roof, just able to scoot away, and the GT goes bouncing over the curbs on both parts of the chicane, as there is the spinning car, a lapper in front of them that they had to avoid through all of that, and somehow the Ford GT gets away with it just fine, and once again, Martin Heller left wondering what could be.
Yeah, and that spinning car was the Sam Barron NSR Racing entry that we just spoke about. The car has massive damage on the rear, no wing to talk of. The wing is all bent there, and so he, the spoiler, and so he is really struggling around the track here. Surprised, in fact, I am that he is still continuing on. That is Sam Barron behind the wheel. You can see the car wiggling all over the place. But back to the battle, Kevin.
Well, I think it's off for this lap, so I want to check in with Evan Pasoko. It sounds like he spotted something.
Got a driver swap going in. Kyle Gary back in the car. Doyle Lawrence is out of it, so that number 98 team entry pulling a swap. That's going to drop them back to 9th position. That's where they started. They were able to make up a couple spots, so let's see what Kyle can do now that he gets back behind the wheel. Interesting that this team now has made 2 swaps. They went from Kyle to Doyle and now back to Kyle to finish this stint here, finish this race. So interesting that they're going with a 2-driver swap strategy between the two of them.
And Evan, I just noticed this. Did you catch this? Tom Ratchey, our formerly second place car, is now sitting in 4th place. He's 20 seconds behind Matt Quinn in 3rd. Do you know what's going on there?
That machine was just down in the pits about 2 laps ago. To see
Jason
what that
Lundy's
was for.
back in the car, guys.
Yeah, they pulled a driver swap on that one as well. So we're seeing the final half here of these double swap cycles start to come through.
Well, Kevin, this is interesting. Why the driver swaps at this kind of late stage? We've got half an hour to go in the race. We saw them come in at about the 40-minute mark, some of these cars. Wyatt Gooden went to the full hour and put Simpson in the car there. But some of the other drivers are a completely different strategy, going about 40 minutes and then doing driver swaps. So that's going to hurt them, obviously.
Yeah, that strategy is completely beyond me, unless I'm completely missing something here about the fuel, which is very likely. Plenty of times fuel strategy has completely passed me by. And watching Martin Heller, who gets loose on the entry to the chicane, and once again, his chance through La Source is ruined. He's going to have to delay this probably yet another lap.
Yeah, meanwhile, guys, we need to just update the viewers here. The Just Keep Driving entry with Richard Simpson behind the wheel is now a full minute. That is 60 seconds in front
Heller
of
into the wall. Sorry, Richard Heller just swerved across start-finish and bounces off the pit wall on the left-hand side. Big damage all along the left-hand side of his car.